Okay, so I am pro-college drinking. I think it is a rite of passage that everyone should experience. A lot of people do drink before they get into college, but once you're in the environment, it's something that you gotta try. To test your limits, to find your limits, to know what alcohols you can and cannot drink, and then to also know what you're like as a crazy drunk. I went to San Francisco State, and I have no idea what I did freshman year. It was a drunken blur with plenty of nights and many more stories, and I loved it. I wouldn't change a thing.
I am pro drinking. I think the second you get into college, you should have a drink in your hand, and you should be meeting people and giving people your number when you're really drunk, and then going through your phone book the next day, and you're like, party, 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 you know, whatever. I think people should experiment. That's what college is for. Go, have fun, learn your limits, and stick to your limits. College drinking becomes a problem because people don't know when to stop and don't know how to do things in moderation.
I don't think that going to college requires you to drink. I think it's something that we do to have fun, but I don't particularly think it's a rite of passage per se. It's just, I think college is a lot of times associated with alcohol because it's a time of experimentation and learning about yourself, and if you don't learn to drink now, you're probably going to be a sloppy drunk when you're having kids and all that stuff, so you should know your limitations.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. Pretty much every person I know at Sac State or who goes to college is drinking, regardless if they've done it before being in college or doing it when they first experienced in college. I definitely think it is.
And honestly, I'd have a beer in my hand while studying and everything, and keeps me relaxed. But the whole thing about the average college student, people love to drink and everything like that, it's just not really a good stereotype and everything. So it could be an awakening for, especially for an 18-year-old, for example, too. But if they're going into college for the very first time, thinking, "Oh, we're gonna party, we're gonna drink," but honestly, technically, it's not. There is going to be awakening. Yeah, drinking actually sucks for them. They don't like the taste of it. They don't like the way it feels. So it could be a prime example of them not trying to create this whole stereotype with drinking in college students.
What are some of your experiences with that?
I know the stereotypes out there are that we like to go out and party. We're drunk a lot. The goal is to get drunk, to drink, and to have fun. And I definitely don't believe into that stereotype at all. I don't feel it's true, and I don't think it has a lot of merit to it.
So I'm in the Greek system. I'm in a sorority, so obviously that's a lot of people do think that that's all we do. We just party, we drink, we just try and we buy our friends, all that kind of stuff, the typical stereotypes you normally hear for being in the Greek system. There are people that do actually live up to those stereotypes, but then a majority of the time, that's not what it always is. We do drink, but it's not to the extent where it's like, oh my god, they're blacking out. Like, a lot of fraternity guys do that, especially if they're just like, yeah, bro, like, I'm in a frat. But other than that, there are girls that do it too. People go over their limitations, people find out what their limitations are, but regardless of being in college, you're bound to drink anything.
There's the slutty drunk girl, who I guarantee will be at any party you go to. There's always that chick, you know what I mean, that's like over limit drunk, having like her head in a toilet, holding her hair back, like it's undeniable.
I've only really run into one instance because I'm a college student, and it's completely unrelated to drinking. But I've never run into somewhere where someone's like, oh, that guy's a college student. I bet he just kind of is lackadaisical and just wants to drink and things like that. I've never really ever seen that.
Regular people who drink socially, who don't go too far. They don't become intoxicated in like a complete drunken like slur. They just drink to have fun and to enjoy themselves, because it is like a social lubricant. You know, it does ease tension. It does bring people closer together on different levels. But there is a point where it goes too far and you're stumbling around, you know, like hitting your head on things, like a complete just mess, and no one wants to take care of that. Don't be that person.
I think it's just a point of view. people create. So it's basically judged on another individual, another person's character too, and everything. People are different, tend to be different. If you got your hard workers and your partiers, the hard workers, I mean, yeah, they'll probably socially, casually drink, versus you got your partiers who still go to school. They happen to like drinking, so it just depends on where their mentality is at.
It does put a huge stereotype on it. I think the majority of people who hold that stereotype watch a lot of movies and gain that through that, and then think that because it's on TV, that's the way things really are, and it's not true. Because of the huge gap of differences that's happened in the past couple of years, like maybe not a couple of years, but since like our parents went to college and what we do now in college is very different, and I think that's more what the stereotype is based off of, then I don't think college students drink as much as people say they do. So
I think that people put too negative of a spin on it and make us look like we're incapable of controlling ourselves, and that's just not the case. College students, you know, people that are in really hard majors and have super heavy class loads and are working full-time jobs can go out and drink for a night and not throw their diploma down the drain. So
It's a life lesson, you know, and then that way you'll find your limits and you'll know how much you can take, and it'll better help you in your future.
And please don't put that in the video.
Well, you're not even recording now.